Here we have a Canyon Endurace, and we're going to do a headset service on it and replace the headset bearings. We're going to find where the serial number is on the bike, put that into Canyon website to find the correct parts for the bike, and we're also going to we're going to measure the bearings as well so that we can find the bearings for cheaper on a different website online. We're going to take the headset bearings out now. So first we take off the wheel. So it's just we undo this through axle, take that out, and put the wheel to one side. Now we're going to undo the top cap and the stem bolts, and then we're going to remove the cockpit, and we're going to take off the headset spacers as well, and make sure we've got them all in the correct order. And now this is the part, the headset cap, which is cracked. So we're going to just very carefully take that off, and this is the part we're going to see if we can find on the Canyon website to replace. Now we're going to remove the fork from the headset, and we're just going to press gently on the top there and pull it down, and it should just pop out like that. So here we go, we can see that the bearings have left some very horrible brown residue on the steerer tube, so we're going to give that a good clean. So here is the top headset bearing. You can see it's very stiff and worn. There's a little rubber bit on the top which is also looking a little bit perished. It might be a good idea to try and replace that as well if we can. That'll be something we can hopefully find on the Canyon website. I'm just going to use this pick to try and take it off and have a closer look at it if I can. We also need to take it off so that we can measure the bearings. There we go. Yeah, so it's looking quite rough, so I think it would be a good idea to replace that. Here is the top bearing that we're going to measure in a second, and now we're also going to get the the lower headset bearing out, which is also very stiff and in need of replacing. So now we're going to use our calipers to measure the bearings. So if we just want to zero it, and then we're going to measure the outer race of the bearing. So we can see it's 44.0402, so it's probably just going to be a 44, but we'll write down what it's saying anyway, because some of these bearings are very precise as to how big they are. We're also going to measure the inner race of the bearing. So we want to make sure that we've got it right in the middle there. So it looks to be a 34.9, but it might be that we need to round it up to 35. Now we're going to measure the width of the bearing. So this is saying 5.58. It's probably just going to be a 5.5 or a 5.6, but we'll round it up when we look at the website and decide from there. We also need to find out what the angle of the headset bearing is. It will either be a 45 or a 36 on the outside of the bearing. So the way to figure that out is to use the caliper. And if it's two 45-degree angles, you'll see that sits flush. However, it's not. You'll see there's some wiggle in there, which suggests that the angles on the inside and outside are different, so it's likely that this is a 36-degree bearing. Now we want to repeat the process with the other headset bearing. So the measurements, we've got the outer race is 43.97, the inner race is 33, the width is 6.08, and the angle is 36 degrees. Now, of course, we can round these up, and when we look at the website, we can decipher which ones that are going to be the correct size bearings. So if you look underneath the bottom bracket of your bike, you'll find the serial number, and then if you go to the Canyon website and look on the spare parts page, you'll get to this point where you can insert the serial number of the bike. And this will show all the compatible parts that you can buy on the Canyon website that's suitable for your bike. So here we have the Endurace CF-SL that we've got in the workshop. That's the exact bike, even the frame size is correct. You can even see an exploded diagram, so any other frame parts, you can see them all, and you'll be able to link that to the website if you need to replace anything. So if we come back to the main page, we can see here these are all the parts that compass with the bike. There is the headset. So if we click on that, we've got the 2 headset bearings and the this rubber bit at the top that we need as well. So it's $54.95, which is quite expensive. Here shows the measurements of the bearings, which is useful. It doesn't show the angle of the headset bearings though, whether it's 36 or 45. So if we go back and have a look, there is the Canyon headset cap that is cracked on the bike. So that's the other bit that we need to replace, and we're only going to be able to find that on the Canyon website. So we're going to go ahead and order that as well. Now you can see that comes to £68.90 plus delivery, which is £9.99. So if you want to find the bearings for a little bit cheaper online, a good website I use is Which Bearings, based in the UK. So you can see on the left you've got this really useful tool where you can put in the measurements of the bearings to find exactly what you're looking for. So the outside diameter, the inside diameter and the width. So if we go down, what we're looking for is the 44.02 measurement that we took earlier. The closest one to that's 44mm, which makes sense. So there we've got the outside diameter. If we look at the inside, we're looking for a 34.9. Can we see something similar to that? So it's going to be the 35mm. And now we're looking for something close to a 5.56. It's got to be the 5.5. And it just comes up with these 2 bearings. So we've got this one here, which looks good. It's got the 36 and the 45 angle. It's $10.99 plus VAT. We'll add that to the basket, and then if we have a look at some of the reviews, yeah, we can see that someone with the Canyon Endurace has used this bearing and it's worked for them. So if we do the same thing for the other bearing, we're looking for something close to 43.97, which I'm assuming is probably going to be the 44. And then we want 33 inner diameter. There we go. And then the 6.08, which is probably just a 6. There we go. Usually you get a bit of dirt and that sort of thing on the inside of the bearing that can make the measurement slightly inaccurate. So if we go ahead and add that to the basket. Now let's have a look at the customer reviews. Yeah, someone else has used it on a Canyon Endurace, so that indicates that it's the correct bearing. The bearings have been delivered. We had to get them from the Canyon website in the end because we needed those extra rubber parts. They also provided this grease, which we can use on the headset, is what they recommend. If you don't have this and you do order the bearings through another website, you can just use all-purpose bike grease. Here are the bearings, so we've got the top and the bottom. The top has the rubber bit that we needed to replace as it had perished, and that just comes out, and you can see there it's like a headset compression ring, as you'd find on a normal headset. We also have the headset spacer part that had cracked, so we can replace that now as well. So if we go ahead and open up the grease, we can start putting some in the headset where it needs to go. So we just want to take a little bit out and rub it around the top part of the headset where we're going to stick the top bearing. We're also going to want to put a little bit under the headset bearings and then on the lower part of the steerer tube where the bearing sits on the fork. It's also a good idea to put a little bit around the top where the headset and the stem are going to sit. So here is the new part that we've ordered. It doesn't come with the little bolt that we need to do it up, so I've just taken the old one out, the old one that cracked. I'm going to put a little bit of grease on there and then put the new bolt in. Now we're going to put the top headset bearing in, so we just want to put that in nice and flush, make sure it's fully seated in there, and then put the bottom one in as well. Sometimes it doesn't always stick, so you can just put it on the steerer tube. Now we're going to put the fork back into the headset. That little rubber bit bit that can pop up, you just press that back down nice and firmly. Make sure it's seated where it should be. Now it's worth putting a little bit of grease on the inside of that spacer just to stop anything from seizing up, and it helps with keeping things waterproof as well. Now we're going to put the rest of the spacers on back in the order that we found them. I'm going to put a little bit of grease on the inside of the stem cockpit. Then we're going to put that compression part in for where the stem bolts clamp to the steerer tube. We're going to put the top cap back on. We don't want to torque this up too much, just so much that there's no more play in the headset when we wiggle it back and forth. Don't think there's a particular torque setting, just you want to use your best judgment. Now we're going to put the wheel back in. This will help us when we come to line things up again. We want to make sure the handlebars are straight and the wheel is facing straight as well. So now we're going to do up the headset spacer part, and it wants to be 2 Newton meters. We can also now do up the stem bolts, which want to be 5 Newton meters. Now we're just giving it a wipe down with a cloth and some isopropyl alcohol, which is good for cleaning things. It'll just evaporate off. So now we can see we've done the headset job. We just want to check that the bearings are nice and smooth, there's no play, and make sure we haven't left any grease or anything lying around.